Let's jump into this story, man, because this video is going viral, and I'm sure everybody's seen it. Canadian TV reporter suffers medical emergency live on air, telling host she's not feeling well and slurs words before eerie blank stare. Let me see if we can play this video. Oh, let me fix the. I always do this with the audio because I'm like playing music and
this
stuff.
is hard to watch. So
I haven't seen
you guys,
this.
Trigger warning. You haven't seen this one?
No, I haven't seen it.
Trigger warning. It's a little hard to watch. So
which one in the okay?
Oh, it's so quiet.
I'll try and bump it.
Oh,
it's still on this.
But this is something that they've been
Are you getting
asking for since
Yeah, it's still on
day
the. It's still on this.
So for
It's coming
them,
through the mics.
Oh, is that it? What?
Yeah, it's not. It's not on
No,
the Zoom. But should be like.
No, I changed it. It's on the right one.
Oh, there was a correction.
It's on the right one. It's just that it's super low audio.
In chess, you don't kill pieces; you capture them. Keep that in mind. You make them your slaves.
Slavery?
Yeah, you can slave the population.
Don't kill them to slaves.
Let's
I'm gonna boost it right now.
let's play this.
I'm boosting it up.
Week before the 3rd anniversary.
Well, people we spoke with say they were happy that something is being done, but this is something that they've been asking for since day one. So for them, this is about 1,000 days too late. Now, Nariman, looking at after the day, families are pushing the feds to. Sorry, Nariman, I'm not feeling very well right now, and I'm about to.
Okay, we'll come back to me right now, and we'll make sure that, Jessica, you are doing okay. Thank you. We will.
Oh, dude!
Look at that last part again. Watch how she her eyes just zoom out.
Right now, we'll make sure that, Jessica,
right there, dude.
you are
Look
doing
at that 1,000
okay.
yeah, right through. Yeah.
Thank you. We will.
Wow.
And then she's like, dude, she fell.
Yeah.
They cut
she
away from her.
passed out.
She hit the ground. Now everybody's got their theories.
Of course,
This young woman on TV. Look, something like stuff like this has happened before. So I don't want to overhype this or downplay it. I just want to be like, I don't know.
I know what it is. I think
You know.
absolutely. I think it's very clear. The evidence is 100% there that this was absolutely climate change that is responsible for this. It is Canada, and the weather has been really hot lately there.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Also, like I think everyone at the equator is already dead. I think there's a reason there's a migrant crisis here that the media is not telling us. And you got to trust the science. You got to trust Vice News.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Actually, look, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Look at this story from Vice. Scientists studying temperature at which humans spontaneously die with increasing urgency.
What?
Wet bulb conditions are when heat and humidity can cause otherwise healthy humans to overheat and die. They're happening more often than ever. Oh, that explains it. She's wearing a thick coat. I know it's cold out, but the humidity's building up. She's having a wet bulb inside of her thing, and her brain just starts boiling in her head, and then she's like, then she goes down.
That's crazy. That's something you would expect to see on the Babylon Bee or something.
And that's not the first article. There's many articles like this making the same kind of arguments that there has been a slight change in temperatures, and therefore this is causing people to drop dead suddenly.
You know what? Yeah,
This is what they're
people have
doing.
been dropping dead for years, but I think it's more common now, right? It's
Look at
much
this.
more common. You see
Look
more.
at it. Look at this one.
Sports, it is for sure.
Look at this
Yeah.
article right here. Look at August 2022. Rise in heart disease may be explained by extreme weather conditions. It's climate change.
So
It's
this
not-
weather clog your arteries?
Look at this. Look at this. It says it's not clear why temperature shifts correlate with more heart attacks.
Then why are you reporting it?
This is
What
that's
is
a
the
good
point?
question. See, this is proof that people will believe anything, and Democrats exploit this all the time.
You know
It's
what I
like
think it is?
They
Hey.
exploit naive people.
No. I figured it out.
What?
If we're playing the correlation game, I got a lot of things to correlate. Heart attacks are linked with Joe Biden draining the petroleum reserves. You know what it must be? When Biden started offloading all of our petroleum reserves, people started getting real bad anxiety, causing heart attacks.
Yeah. Right.
Even in
Yeah.
15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Those 15-year-olds on the soccer field, they're like, gas prices, keeling over. If we're going to play this game of correlation in there, like, you see the one where they said unvaccinated are more likely to get in car accidents?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah, and they're telling us to follow the science, which if they're following the science, just because you have a causation doesn't mean that's actually what's causing it.
Yeah.
Just
What
because
else-
you have a correlation doesn't mean causation.
What else? What else is going on this past year that would be fun to correlate into all these people having heart attacks?
Racism, clearly.
The rise of racism.
Y'all seen the fat black women say they're fat because of white people.
Yeah. Obesity too is caused by racism.
Caused by racism.
Yep.
No. So what's another major thing that happened in this past year? Like big news
What was
event.
the
Big
invasion in the Middle East? That probably caused.
Dude. I mean, a lot of heart attacks are probably caused by Joe Biden's botched Afghanistan
Right.
withdrawal. Hands down.
There's a lot of GMO mosquitoes too. They just started vaccinating the bees. That's going to work out really well. Bill Gates is doing really cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, food's another thing.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out. New York Times, if you're listening, I got a good one for you. Write an article that says anxiety over World War III because of Putin's invasion is causing heart attacks. Boom. And then what you do is when some like 17-year-old kid has collapsed on the field again, because we have hundreds of these stories, you just be like, we talked to his parents, and yes, they talked. Like you ask the parents, have you ever talked about Russia? You did? Boom, there it is. Now we have evidence.
Yeah.
Now you can say, we asked the parents if they'd ever spoken about Russia. They said yes. Their kids had heart attacks.
Does it bother you to think that we might go to World War III? If they say yes, then that indicates stress.
Not so much as the heart attacks.
Yeah. You know what is crazy? Growing up, when I was in the military, there was a bunch of these athletes having heart attacks on the fields, and they was able to link it within like maybe a couple of months. That it was linked to a pre-workout. It had some type of
Right.
caffeine that was linked to.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
what
it was similar to
it was like meth.
Yeah. And they was
I
able to
remember
get
that.
rid of it. But we got all these people dropping dead, and they trying to say it's because of
Climate change.
Yeah, do you think they would locate the cause?
Yeah,
pretty
yeah. I
quick?
mean, these are scientists. Y'all remember when COVID first broke? They could name it to the second to who was dying in India, who was dying in Texas, who was dying in Florida, and
It was like a voting map during election night.
Remember when those videos from China were coming out of people dropping dead suddenly right at the beginning of COVID?
Right.
That was talked about. That was on the media. This really isn't.
Remember that nurse that got that vaccinated live and she just passes out? I was like, I really ain't taking that shit.
I think the problem we're having is that as the media lies more and more, as we expose more and more of the media lies, people will literally either believe or not believe anything.
Yeah.
You've got a tribal element of it where you've got people on the left who are like, I'm going to believe whatever the media says no matter what,
Yeah.
and even push the lies because they're in a cult. Then you got people on the other side who are just like, don't care, I'm not going to believe it. That's a problem either way you cut it.
Yeah.
Like how
Tribal thinking on both sides.
But so I guess what I'm thinking of is that Yuri Bezmenov interview. You guys ever see it?
Oh yeah.
The Russian, he's like the former Soviet guy who's explaining how to destroy a country. He's saying, make sure no one knows what's true. And quite literally, us, we're trapped in it.
Right.
We're outright being like, this story's, you're more likely to get in a car accident because you didn't get vaccinated. That's probably because you live in the middle of nowhere and probably because you don't drive that often.
Yeah, and you know what? The cause of all of our problems in this
I'm sorry, I had it
country?
backwards. You're more likely to drive than you are if you were in a city.
Yeah. The reason why we're having so many problems in this country, it's not because of these politicians. If the media did their job like they supposed to do it, that's why we have the First Amendment, to keep our politicians accountable. When you are in a communist country, you don't have a media. But that's why we have the First Amendment in this country. And now because our media won't do the right thing, hold both sides accountable, that's why we're in the position we're in.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point in having a media if you're just gonna stand up for the left, or you're just gonna stand up for the right? There's a lot more of that going on the left, but stuff like this is not journalism.
and they're grossly negligent about the kid. What was the pro-life school that was going to do a pro-life march at the Capitol, and that Native
like
American,
Nick Sandman. It was like
Nick Sandman. Yeah. They end up having to pay that guy like how much? Like hundreds of millions of dollars.
yeah, but
right?
they
For
they
the-
ran that
I don't
story
know if he
because
got
they
that
got to
much.
paint Trump supporters as like these evil, racist people, and that's why he
Pod
got
people,
paid.
dude. They're pod people.
Yeah.
You see that thing of Jimmy Fallon singing about XBB 1.5?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's a pod person, man. Pod people can't get humor. It's like an alien coming here. You're like in the Matrix when that guy is like, everything tastes like chicken because the robots don't know what things taste like.
Right.
Yeah.
The pod people don't know how to do jokes, so they're like doing these really off-putting facsimiles
Yeah.
of humor, and it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Or Klaus Schwab is like, oh, dance now. And he's like, okay, yes,
Dance.
sir, yes.
Yeah, Jimmy.
you to dance.
all he
That
ever
poor
wanted to
guy.
do
I
was
mean,
sing
you could
and
see
dance.
the soul just being sucked out of his life and existence on this earth when he's like, X1 BB 1 point. That poor guy. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine the human suffering? Just how low you have to think of yourself to be such a stooge.
They delouse him when he walks backstage.
Yeah.
Just spray him
Poor
on the fire
man.
hose.
Serious.
Stephen Colbert did it like what, a couple years ago
The
too?
vaccine.
Yeah, he did. He did a vaccine dance. That was like,
He actually did a whole bunch.
Yeah.
he did a bunch of.
It was
He did.
it's a black dating app. What was the name of that dating app?
Oh,
they
it's a-
came
yeah.
up their vaccine. You
It
remember?
was like a rap song. It was ratchet, and it was about, oh my god.
What?
Back that.
It was a black dating app just for black people.
Yeah.
So you already know this rap song is gonna be ratchet as shit, and they're rapping about getting vaccinated. Yeah. It was, and the lead singer was a trans.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which way it was, a trans girl versus
Was it Vax That Ass Up?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Vax That Ass Up.
I was like, looking at that, I was like, is this really how y'all see black people? This is how you're going to approach them and market them a vaccine? Is this?
Vax that thing up.
Yep, that's it.
Juvenile? Is that Juvenile?
Yes.
That was Juvenile too.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Wow, good for
Yeah, it was a
man.
spinoff of his song. Yeah.
And everybody's comments
it
like,
was him.
is that a dude or is that a kid?
Oh, he remixed Back That Thing You.
Yeah.
Or is that,
Yeah.
that thing up. Maybe that's a miss. Back That Thing Up.
Yeah.
It
So
was
he
so
remixed it.
remarkably bad.
Do you guys?
Should
you
we
guys
play it?
You guys see this story? Well, I was going to bring this one up.
Answer is
The
yes.
basketball player who collapsed on the court.
I didn't hear about that one.
You didn't hear this one? This
yes,
one also went
recently.
viral. Check a look. We'll play this.
Oh,
video.
wow. I didn't see this.
Wait, I just want to make sure the volume's not too loud.
Is
before
that
we play
NBA?
because we
Yeah,
spiked.
we're good now. We're good
That's
now.
college, right?
This is college right here. Look at this dude.
Keep your eyes on number 3.
Number
Right
3 right
side of the
there.
Screen. That's
Boom.
Emo
Oh, damn.
EC.
Watch this. He starts grabbing his
Sophomore guard
chest. Look at that.
Stops, then slowly goes down to the ground. Players from both teams visibly upset after watching. Take a look.
When did
Number
this
of
happen?
ODU players were
That
seen
wasn't-
crying,
'Cause they
looking
know it
on,
wasn't
hoping their
basketball that
teammate
caused
was
it.
That wasn't commotio cardis.
No, yeah.
You know when
Nothing hit him.
that football player got tackled. You know, so I've asked a medical professional, and they said well, that one could be like, and this is somebody who's like complained about the vaccine. We have a medical professional we know.
But you know what's crazy? It's never happened before.
I watch football
No,
all
no,
the
no,
time.
actually,
Yeah.
in football perhaps.
Yeah, in football, yeah.
So it's like
There was a guy in the 50s, he had a blood clot. But
Right.
he had a blood clot.
and then he like died in the field.
70s, 71. I
71?
think. Yeah, something like that.
So-
So it was right at the end of the game too.
It could be. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it is. You know what I mean? Like the media's going to come out and be like, oh, it was, it's commotio cardis and better parents got to watch out for their kids. And it's like, if that was like winning the lottery five times.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. What are the chances of that happening?
It happens in baseball because a hard projectile is thrown at like 30
Right.
to 50 miles an hour or whatever,
right.
hits a kid right above the heart, and then like,
Yeah.
stuns their heart.
Yeah,
Right.
but this guy you have pads that come down like this.
Yeah, it's like I watch.
Well, look, man, this guy just fell down for no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
he
they-
got up quick and then he fell. I was like, this weird.
And then they brought him to the bench, and they're sending him to a cardiologist. So he just
Right.
went down.
my guy that travels with us does shows. He got the vax because he had to for work, so he didn't have no choice. And he was on stage. He opens for us. Remember that time?
He had an episode on
He
stage.
had an episode up on stage where his chest started hurting really bad, and he got pale. And he's a black guy, and he wasn't feeling good. He had to cut his set and call us out sooner. And he's like, dude, I don't know how. He said, man, my chest was just like, it was hurting and I couldn't breathe. I was short of breath. And I was like, are you fine now? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. But he said, I don't know what the hell happened. I think I just hyperventilated. I was
I
like,
mean,
dude.
look, everybody has a choice.
Yeah.
When
that,
was that?
choice might be you get to be homeless and live in the woods, and you might starve to death. Like certainly it's coercive elements, but you have a choice. I think look, I don't know what's causing any of this, and I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm going to say talk to a doctor, but I'm going to tell you if you feel a certain way about what's going on, you better make the choice you think is going to keep you alive.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a car like about a year ago, and I was doing my paperwork with the finance guy, and he shared a story with me about his daughter. He's like, and this is right when the algae came out, the Fauci algae came out, and he said his daughter wanted to travel and go to Europe, but because of COVID, she couldn't do it. But now because the vaccine was out, you can go travel in Europe and go to all these great places, but you have to be vaccinated. So she got vaccinated, and 2 weeks before she took off to go on her trip, she dropped dead of a blood clot.
Wow.
She's in her early 20s.
I was talking to
He said that. So he told me, he's like, dude, if you're healthy, he's like, dude, I wouldn't. That's what he told me personally. And it
so I had a summer thing where I talked to a doctor. So like I did not get the vaccine.
Right.
I talked to a doctor, and they said this was back before. This was around the time when they were like, we don't know how many we got, and they were like, you're young, you're not in the risk factor.
Right.
You exercise. Let someone else get it. You're not the person for
Right.
this. Like someone who's
Exactly.
70 needs this. When I got sick, we went to the doctor. Everybody knows that story. But I talked to a doctor, and that's what they told me. I think for a lot of people, they got mad because they went to their doctors, and the doctors were like, don't know, don't care, just do it. Or a lot of people like pulled up in 7-Eleven parking lots.
Right.
My thing was like, look, ask your doctor questions about the news and what's going on. Ask them like, hey man, I heard this story. If they can properly inform you and you trust them, then take your doctor's advice. But there's a lot of people who are complaining because their doctors don't seem to know what's going on. And I'm like, that's like hiring a plumber who doesn't know how to fix a toilet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, find a doctor who knows what's going on and get some good medical advice.
And I think they
Doctor-
have a financial incentive to recommend the shot too. And that's a conflict of interest.
Well,
Well,
there's
but not
also-
just that, but like opiates and any drug.
Right.
That's a
Yeah.
big problem
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, we definitely
Exactly.
learned a lot through the opioid epidemic. And,
But just
I-
the bigger picture being that doctors recommend drugs because pharmaceutical companies make money off of it. They send them free samples. I hurt my knee when I was a kid skating, and the doctor handed me like 5 like bundles of steroid samples. Like, here, you need this for an anti-inflammatory, and I was just like, what is this?
Yeah. So how do you fix that though with doctors?
Well,
being incentivized?
I think you make people understand that doctors could be as easily bought off as politicians,
Right.
And I think you make people prioritize their own health. And I think at the the best kind of medical advice I could give anybody is to do what is right for them. And every individual is unique, everyone's different. But we also have to realize that there is a war on your health. There's a lot of very powerful people that are interested in making you fat and making you sad and making you infertile. And a lot of this war is waged through our food. So I think just living as an example, I think educating people and telling people as much as we can. This is what I do. This is what I focus on a lot, especially with my members area. Whoops, sorry there. With my members area, specifically focusing and talking about a lot of these issues on a one-on-one kind of personal basis. And when I go to the doctor, I travel a lot and I see a lot of different doctors out there. And I always kind of ask them, I'm like, hey, you did you? And based on that conversation, or based off him even or her asking me, "Hey, what's your diet? What's your stress levels? How's your sleep schedule? What are you doing any physical exercise?" If the doctor's asking me that, then I know that doctor's actually incentivized to helping me and taking care of me. Otherwise, they're just like, "Here, take these pills." Automatically, that's a red flag, and that should be a red flag for a lot of people.
You know what I found most alarming about the pandemic? When they start recommending the shot, even if you had already contracted the virus.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
a huge red flag for me.
Really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, who gets chickenpox and then go gets the chickenpox vaccine?
Well, I think you're not supposed to. I'm not the doctor.
Yeah,
but
you-
from
that-
what I'm told is you get a vaccine to help your body kick up an immune response so that you don't get really sick from the thing. If you already got sick from the thing, don't get the vaccine because your body's
Right.
already kicked up the immune response. That's
Exactly.
what I'm told.
That's what a lot of doctors were saying, and then they were the ones that were censored. They were the ones that were
Right.
kicked out. There was 2 famous doctors from California came out and did a video specifically about this. That video was taken off of YouTube.
Yeah,
When I-
what I
when-
did
when I-
like is, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, when I called the doctor, they said explicitly, you cannot get the vaccine if you've had COVID. You have to wait.
Yeah.
They said you have to wait like a month or 2 or something like that.
It's crazy. People that got the vaccine and the damn booster.
Yeah, and it's like Dr. Fauci was pushing that idea. It's like, no, you because they hadn't determined yet how long your immunity was up after getting COVID. When he's been doing this for decades, he has a good idea that your immunity just doesn't run out in a year.
Yeah, like
after
we
getting the
give
disease.
blood like every what 4 months?
6 months.
Every
And
6 months, 4 to
2
6
years since I got COVID.
Every
I
time
still had the antibodies from COVID.
Yeah. And I caught it twice. That second time was
Hey,
nothing.
same.
That first
Yeah.
time was rough.
Dude,
same.
the president.
The first time we got it, it was the worst thing I ever experienced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My
And-
feet turned blue.
Oh, wow.
My feet turned blue.
Yeah.
And me and Kevin, we was calling each other every hour, every couple hours. Hey, man, can you still breathe? Or you dying? But my
Glad
feet
to see
turned
you.
blue.
You kept breathing.
Yeah, and my lower back was hurting.
That hurt the
same
most.
here.
Kidneys, maybe, right?
That was the kidneys over trying to
Yeah.
filter that garbage out of your body. But my feet
same
turned
here.
blue, and I was like, man, this is because I've had the flu, but that COVID, it was.
That's the crazy
Yeah.
thing too. When I kept hearing people say like, "Oh, it's like the flu," and I'm like, "Not for me, dude. I've
it
had
was
the
bad.
flu. That
y'all
was bad."
remember the Republicans? They say it's just the flu. It's just a bad flu. I got COVID. I said, "Motherfucker, this ain't the flu."
No, man. So at
Totally.
first, I was like, other people got sick before me, and then I'm all like, I'm not gonna get sick. I'm eating right, and I'm exercising.
Yeah.
And then a day or 2 later, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling sick. It's not so bad. I'll work. And then I
Yeah.
work. Then the next day, I'm like, wow, I feel really sick. I don't think I can work today. I'm gonna have to lay down.
yeah,
Right, right.
The next day it was so bad I was shaking.
Yeah.
I called local hospital and they said, "What do you want us to do? It's a virus." And I was like, "Is there a protocol? Is there like IV fluids or what?" They're like, "No, stay home. Good luck."
Yeah.
That
Yeah, exactly.
later
Good
that
luck.
night, I was so bad that I was like, I'm not going to wait around to find out that I'm going to the hospital or something. I don't want to, figure out what's going to be. But I was breathing heavy. So I know Joe talked a lot about it on his show about
Right.
his treatment.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I got it bad. I'm feeling like death. What's up? And then he was just, I told him, like, I called the hospital. They said nothing. He's like, no. Call like a private practice. Tell them what you're experiencing. They can give you something, anything. Like, here's the thing. Even if you're sick, they can give you IV fluids because that'll help you. You're dehydrated.
Right.
Like, these doctors will help you out. So the challenge is a lot of these treatments, like monoclonal antibodies, is $2,500 per treatment.
Oh, wow.
So sure enough,
expensive.
we're lucky enough to be able to have this taken care of.
Right.
And we actually got everybody the treatment, but like overnight, I was better.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You know what's weird? Like when I wasn't feeling well, my wife was real concerned. She was like a big time COVID spaz, right? So she sent me down to the clinic to find out within 24 hours the rapid response. So I get the rapid response test, and they call you back, and I called back, and I called the lady. She said, you have COVID. And it's funny. I was one of those guys, just the flu. It was just the flu. As soon as she told me that I had COVID, I said, oh, man, I'm going to freaking die. That was like my first response.
Yeah.
Hey, Echo Health Alliance spent a lot of your tax dollars weaponizing a virus, and they did a good job at it.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.